Welcome to the Dr. Zwig Show, where I show you how bad states of mind and difficult life issues aren't pathological, but rather signs of personal growth trying to happen. All right, let's get into it. Greetings, people. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to get into music as a method of working on yourself. So grab some water if you need it, settle in, and let's jam. Don't do these exercises while you're driving, operating machinery, or doing anything that requires your attention. All right, we're going to use songs to discover your process. Now, what do I mean by your process? Your process consists of two basic elements. The first is how you identify yourself. It's basically whatever you associate to I. It's everything you think you know about yourself. I'm this, but I'm not that. It's your current level of self-awareness. In some spiritual traditions, this is referred to as the ego. But I don't use this term because there's an incredible confusion over how it's used in psychology versus how people in the West think it's used in Eastern spiritual traditions. The word was invented in the 1800s, thousands of years after the ancient Eastern spiritual texts were written. But people mistakenly think it's in those texts. But that's a whole other topic. Anyway, identity is a more accurate term. The second element of your process is the growth and change that's trying to happen in you to help you evolve past your current identity and self-awareness. It's the you that's hiding in the shadows of your psyche, waiting to be discovered. And it's not only a new and different part of you waiting to be discovered. In many respects, it's the anti-you. Some folks would call it your shadow, but it's much more than this. It's your complete opposite, and it holds the keys to your wholeness, liberation, healing, and transformation. Your process is the dynamic relationship between these two elements. It's the unfolding story of who you know yourself to be and who you're becoming. We continually try to shore up who we are, but change is always knocking on the door. Process means being aware of these changes. It means flow, growth, and transformation. I actually have names for these two elements. I call them first mind and second mind. Your first mind is your known self, and your second mind is your more evolved future self that lives in your psyche right now and can be tapped into. I'm going to show you how to use music to identify and experience these two elements of yourself. Being able to identify your first mind and your second mind will give you a lot of actionable information about what's going on in you that will help you begin to make changes in your life. But before getting started, I want to introduce you to another concept called channel changing. Your process comes to you through your sensory channels: vision, hearing, feeling, and moving. Each of these channels has an internal and an external component. For example, you can see your environment and you can see pictures in your mind. Same with hearing. You can hear outer sounds or inner sounds. You can also feel something in relationship with someone else or internally on your own. And you can move your body or you can feel internal movements. Channel changing involves converting the content from one channel into another. The content doesn't change, only its form of expression changes. For example, I recently asked a client to picture her feeling of sadness, and she saw a dead rose. Her sadness came to her through her feeling, and she converted it into an image. The content of sadness didn't change, only its form of expression. Another client pictured his happy feeling as a dog wagging his tail. Going in the reverse direction, I remember someone who was surprised that when she translated her vision of being alone in the world into a feeling, it was a feeling of spirituality. Another woman was surprised when her vision of herself failing in life gave her a strange feeling of freedom. I've had many clients who hear inner critics and then visualize them as witches or devils. I had a client who was a dancer who was incredible at translating what she felt into expressive movement. And I remember once having a terrible song looping in my mind, and I pictured it as an out-of-control Ferris wheel. The expression in the new channel doesn't have to make sense at first, but it has to express the exact same content as the original channel. If you feel sad and visualize a picture of a child playing and having fun, you've short-circuited your process. You're imagining what you want to feel instead of what you actually do feel. Keep your experience consistent across all your sensory channels. Each one of you is totally unique in how you process things. So at each step of the exercise, turn the podcast on and off however you need. Okay, let's do this. Begin by closing your eyes and listening for a song. What's the first song that pops into your head? Don't think about it, just let it present itself. It doesn't matter if you like it or hate it, just let it happen. Now, listen to it in your mind. Feel it. Sense it. Notice what it does to you. Really get into it and describe the state of mind and body it puts you in. Does it make you feel happy-go-lucky, peaceful, sentimental, irritated, bored, sad, angry, excited, or something else? All right, you've just discovered something about your first mind, the part of you that you identify with. Whether you realize it or not, the feeling this song gives you is something you identify with, or strive to identify with, or maybe just habitually partake in. It's familiar to you. It's known. Can you see this? Ponder it for a moment. Now, close your eyes again and listen for another song. What song pops into your mind right now. Do it like last time. Just let it happen. Don't think about it. Now, like you did with the last song, listen, feel, sense, and notice your experience of it. Really get into it. Describe the state of mind and body it puts you into. Does it make you feel ecstatic, free, happy, melancholy, relieved, relaxed, spiritual, or something else? Now, I want you to amplify your experience of this second song. Feel into it further. Make the feeling stronger, bigger, more intense. Exaggerate it. Feel it in every part of your body. And make your mind this way too. Embody the experience throughout your entire being. Now, make a picture of the feeling. While you're feeling it, look at an image that expresses the exact same thing. Okay, now stand up and move your body in a way that expresses what you feel and see. How does your body and your energy and your movements want to express this feeling and image? It doesn't have to make sense. Don't try to be logical or rational. Just let your body express what you're experiencing in your feeling and visual channels. All right. Go back to the movements you were doing and visualize a character who embodies this way of feeling, moving, and being. There's a certain energy you're expressing, and I want you to imagine a character who embodies this. Once you've visualized this character, play act it, become it. Use your imagination and all your senses to fully experience the character. Explore its attitude and energy and way of being. All right, you've just discovered your second mind, the part of you you're in the process of becoming. It represents the change that wants to happen in you. The feeling you get from this song is a part of you that needs your attention, so it can become a more conscious part of who you are. The character who embodies this way of feeling and being and living is a template for who you're becoming. It's the growing edge of your identity. It's your higher self, your ticket to healing and enlightenment. Okay, here are some questions to help you complete your experience. How does your first song express your first mind, your current way of being, your identity and self-awareness? How does your second song express your second mind? A way of being you need to pay more attention to, nourish, and grow into. What in you is against your second mind? What part of you is unsupportive of you living like your second song? Is it an inner critic? A belief system that says you shouldn't be this way? A past experience that makes you afraid? Perhaps there are people in your life that will be judgmental or even stop being friends with you. How will you deal with these challenges? Begin by identifying them and dialoguing with the parts of yourself that represent them. If you could integrate and live your second mind self, how would you deal with your problems? How would you relate to people? How would you be in the world? How could your second mind inform your spirituality? Great work! You've just learned how to connect with your process by listening to songs in your head. You did this by letting a song pop in, feeling into it, and identifying how this represents your current life situation and identity, your first mind. Then you let a second song pop into your mind, and by feeling, seeing, and moving how you experience it, visualizing a character who embodies this energy, attitude, and way of being, and then exploring your experience of it, you identified how this way of being represents the changes you need to embrace, your second mind. Finally, you contemplated how you can bring your second mind self more into your life. Take as much time as you need to absorb what you just did. If you feel like hearing some bonus material where I share some of my clients' experiences doing this exercise, that's up next. A 60-year-old man's first song was a tune from the 1970s called Take It Easy by the Eagles. It represented his desire to chill in light of the world's current craziness. His second song was another tune from the 1970s called Southern Man by Neil Young, which is about racism. When he amplified his experience of the song, he reconnected with an old passion he had for social issues. He had been feeling apathetic and just wanted to retreat from what's going on in the world these days. But this sparked his energy to work toward improving social conditions. He visualized a character who was a social activist and committed to bringing this into his life. A 48-year-old woman's first song was Like a Virgin by Madonna, which my client described as happy-go-lucky. She said she tries to live her life this way, but it's not so easy. Her second song was Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. She said she had recently rediscovered the tune and fell in love with it just like she had done when it first came out. When we explored her experience of it, she got in touch with her more serious side and realized she doesn't only want to be silly and have fun, she also wants to accomplish something in her life. She visualized a character who was a powerful woman in the world, and this helped her get onto a new track. A 16-year-old girl's first song was Moonlight by Grace Vanderval, which my client described as a calming song. Her second song was Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. The girl's boyfriend had broken up with her a while back, and she was feeling sad and hopeless. The Shake It Off song gave her energy and hope and a feeling that she could move on and everything was going to be okay. She visualized a character who was a female surfer, and we worked on her bringing this energy into her life. See you next time. Stay aware. You can follow me on social media at Dr. Zwig, and you can sign up on the mailing list at drzwig.com, where you'll receive discounts on private coaching, events, and merchandise starting in 2021, weekly personal growth tips, and lots more. Be well.